When you look at people that seem to have it all together, the ones that are waking up early, training consistently, and they always seem to be eating the right thing. These people, they make progress look natural. They don't seem to struggle, at least not in the same way you do. Meanwhile, when you try to change your lifestyle, every step feels heavy. Every small effort feels like a fight against yourself. And the reason is you haven't mastered the art of enjoying doing hard things yet. And you'd be surprised to know how hard things is less to do with willpower and the challenge itself, and everything to do with how you train your mind to perceive effort. Because if you learn to frame it in the right way and use proper techniques, which is what we're going to see in this video, everything becomes easier. Before we talk about anything that's applicable, we need to understand first why doing hard things feels so hard. The first problem is that change will resist you. Okay. Nobody likes to change. Nobody's system has been designed for change. Because anytime you try to change, whether it's you could try and create a new habit, new routine, you will create what's called mental friction. So mental friction is this dreadful feeling that you can experience, this negative feeling of heaviness, of feeling like it's demanding everything of yourself to engage in this action. That's what Steven Pressfield calls resistance in his book, The War of Art. This is an invisible force that pushes everyone back every time they move forward, or they try to. It's nothing personal against you. This is universal. This is a force that's trying to maintain the current state of reality. And the moment you try to move, the resistance will push you back into your old place. Because as humans, what we want, what we strive for first before anything else is safety. And your brain's job is to keep you safe. And in our world, safe means comfortable. And that's why every time you try and step out of the comfort zone, resistance will trigger mental friction. And experiencing this mental friction will try and push you back to your old seats. So let's just take the example of trying to wake up earlier. You'll dread putting the alarm early, okay? You'll feel like this is costing you way too much. This is probably not worth it. And you'll maybe even wake up more tired than usual, and you'll just want to snooze to go back to bed. This is you experiencing resistance, and it's a good sign. It's not supposed to feel better right away, okay? Hard things take a while before they start to feel better. It's just proof that you're adapting, and it's proof that you're making conscious decisions about what you want to happen in your life. So the key insight here is to expect resistance, because it won't shock you when it shows up if you're expecting it, but it can stab you in the back if you're not and you're thinking that there's something wrong with how you do stuff. Now, the second idea, which is really important to understand if you want to know why it feels so hard to engage in stuff you're not used to do, is that you are used to getting the reward fast. Our brains are wired for instant gratification. You probably know that. We've talked about it on this channel before and in my articles. But the premise is that you want to feel good right now, all the time, essentially. And everything in modern life has taught you that way. Okay, you've been conditioned to experience instant gratification every day, maybe even every hour. Social media, food delivery, streaming, Netflix, that's pretty much dopamine on demand if you think about it. But the thing is that hard things, they don't run on instant gratification. They run on delayed gratification, which is the opposite of it, which is doing the hard thing now for a potential reward later. But you don't know when this reward is going to happen, or it's going to happen in a consequential amount of time. That's the case for the gym. This is why people quit going to the gym before seeing any results. Because when you go to the gym for days, weeks, maybe even months, you don't see any, tangible, visible results yet. And that's the same thing for nutrition. When you eat clean, it takes a few weeks, to start losing the weight or to start adapting your diet so that you lose the weight, gain muscle, whatever it is that you have as a goal. You don't feel drastically different because you don't experience the instant gratification. What you base your behavior on is delayed gratification. And so your brain is like, So why are we doing this basically? Why are we engaging in something when there's no reward? And your brain, as we explained earlier, is going to try to pull you back into your old pattern because it doesn't see the change as worth it, because it's not experiencing any reward yet. That's because you've been conditioned to experience instant gratification pretty much all the time. And if you want to start enjoying doing hard things, you have to break that pattern. You have to set the default mode onto delayed gratification instead of instant gratification. You need to learn to appreciate the challenge, not for the reward, but for the challenge itself. So here's the tricky part. Your brain, which is the very only thing that can allow you to change your mind and help you to do it, is also the thing that will stop you from trying. As we talked about, when you step into something that's unfamiliar, your brain tries to protect you with negative self-talk. At first, this may not sound like a logical thing to do, but you'll understand this. Since you're not comfortable changing, you're not comfortable in the new habit, you're experiencing mental friction because you're facing resistance. Your brain is going to try and get you to go back to safety and comfort by any means. It doesn't care how it does it, okay? Most of the time, for most people, it's going to try and do it through negative self-talk. So it's going to try and bully you into going back to where you were before. It will tell you things like, you're not ready to change, you'll fail again, you're not that type of person, this is not for you, it's too late for you to change, those kind of things that you may have heard in your mind before. Your brain telling you this doesn't mean that it is true or that you have to listen to it. Those two things are key to understand. It's just your scared brain trying to avoid discomfort, trying to take the pain away, basically. The pain of that the mental friction created. You have to learn to notice this voice speaking to you without obeying it. These are thoughts. These are not commands. You still have control over what you choose to engage in. This is just information, and it's really important that you remember this. Now, let's talk about how to make hard things, feel easier. The first thing is that you want to reframe effort as training, not punishment. A lot of people think that discomfort is failure, meaning that if they're having a hard time, it means that they're doing something wrong. It's not. It's just proof that you're building more tolerance for discomfort. It's not suffering, honestly. It's just, training your brain. You have to reframe it as not experiencing this awful reality of negative consequences that are happening as a result of you engaging in a different way. It's just different, and it can create negative feelings, and you have to be okay with that. There's something really important to understand, is that the harder it feels today, the easier it will feel next time, as you're building up this tolerance for effort and for negative feelings that are coming out of this changing process. Cold showers are a good example. It feels brutal at first when you try for like the first few days, but then after you're putting in the reps, it feels like it's okay. It's tolerable. Okay. It's doable. You can do it. It doesn't feel dreadful all the time. Second step is to make it as easy as possible to start. The biggest mistake most people make, and the reason why they fail, is because they make it so hard for themselves to start something. It's not about perfection. You need to plan the very start. You don't need a roadmap for the entire thing. If you're trying to go to the gym, you don't need a full progression, periodization of everything you need to work, okay? You just need a simple entry point that's clear enough for you to only start and focus on that. If your goal is to run, for example, don't start with 5K, okay? Just go for a 5-minute jog. Don't put any pressure on yourself, because doing the hard thing is going to pressure you enough, and you shouldn't put even more expectations and pressure onto yourself on top of that. Something key to understand is that momentum will be your best ally. Once you're in motion, the rest will follow. But the hardest part is always to start. Third step is to stop thinking in ideals. Your dream body, your dream business, your dream life, the dream plan, those ideals will completely destroy your progress and your chances of succeeding when it comes to tackling hard challenges. The more perfect the vision you create for yourself, and the more you fantasize about an ideal reality, the heavier the gap feels in between where you are right now to where you want to be. And you'll feel this gap. And this gap is going to fuel mental friction like crazy. So don't invest much time in your mind idealizing about this reality when you're going to have the perfect body and what you're going to do with it. Focus on effort, not the outcome, because if you have control over the effort that you're putting, you have no direct control over the outcome. Fourth step is to find healthier rewards. Again, this is something most people don't think about, but it is really important. Rewarding yourself is a normal part of the process. Now we're going to go back to instant gratification. Instant gratification is not bad in itself. Instant gratification needs to be controlled. You need to find some sort of balance in between instant gratification and delayed gratification. Now, you can use instant gratification to get to delayed gratification. That's something I've pretty much never heard about before. But rewarding yourself in a way that's coherent with your goals is going to be key. Most people don't do that. Most people reward themselves in destructive ways when it comes to their fitness goals specifically. If you worked out, if you've stretched, if you've cooked yourself something nice, do not sabotage yourself by giving yourself a reward that's going to go the opposite way of the progress you just made, okay? If you're a fan of sugary food and you're trying to lose weight and you've just worked out and that was a great workout, don't go for the candies. Don't go for the chocolate. This is just going to ruin the progress you've made. Reward yourself with something different. Something that's not going to get in the way of your goals. Maybe a Netflix episode, maybe a coffee with a friend. I don't know. That way you're still giving your brain the dopamine it needs to keep going, but just from healthier sources that are not compromising your goals. And the last step we're going to talk about is to build emotional safety. If you want to enjoy doing hard things, you will have to be your best friend. You will have to build a cocoon of emotional safety, because you can't enjoy effort if your mind constantly attacks your attempts to change every time you try something new, every time you get out of the comfort zone. And we spoke about that negative self-talk, but instead of just not listening to it, a greater goal would be to change the way it speaks to you completely. Learn how to navigate the self-talk and then be observant of it, and eventually welcome it with curiosity and compassion, which is going to turn it into a gentler version of that voice. And that voice saying that you don't belong in the gym, you're not doing the right stuff, you feel miserable, and you are not going to change, you're going to stay the same forever. You need to not argue with it. You need to just notice it. Okay, I hear what this voice is telling me, but I'm not going to listen to it. And over time, I'm going to work on that voice so that it's not that negative anymore. You can't control what it says to you, but you can work on the volume a little bit. You can choose not to engage with it all the time so that you don't fuel that negative voice. You control the volume. Remember that. Not the message itself, the volume. And that's enough for you. There's a lot more resources. And if you want to get the full articles, the promotions, the other stuff I talk about, you can subscribe to the newsletter. It's free. You're going to get my new Everyday Athlete Guide, 7 days to become an everyday athlete. For those who want to take on the full challenge and plan their transformation, whether it's physical or mental, I'll leave a link down below for my coaching program. In the meantime, I hope this helps and you just trust the process.